Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Dwarves led by Alexander Nuts facing off against Nurgle, who shall be helmed by Harrison here on the Decrepit Moor, and it is going to be a Nurgle tide. So this is a very, very meta way to play Nurgle. For anybody who's like newer to the game, this is a super user-friendly way to play. Basically, you just send forward an unholy legion of infantry, just as much as you can possibly muster, and then you bring a Nurgle caster, so you bring a Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Nurgle, and you spam the cheap spells, Miasma, Pestilence, and Stream of Corruption, and every single time you do that, your entire army gets healed for 0.80% of their health, which is incredibly cost-effective on infantry units that have 10,000 HP, right? So the amount of healing you're getting on your entire army here is just absolutely bonkers, so you can really cackle pretty hard with that. So, yeah, you just spam out those spells. Sorry about that weird lag spike right there. I've been getting that a little bit with some of the replays. But yeah, you just spam that, heal your entire army, you live your best life. Now for the Dwarves, they're going to be coming geared probably to kill a lot of infantry. We see Dwarf Warriors in the front, but they're going to be bringing some fire, and that's one of the best ways to purge Nurgle is using the dreaded Iron Drakes. So they're going to be coming in with the Flamethrower attacks, top tier against, I mean, I wouldn't say they're a top tier unit, but if they can fill their really, really niche role of just roasting lightly armored infantry, they can do some exceptional work. So there are going to be 2 Iron Drakes, an Organ Gun as well. Oh, hell yeah. And a Dwarf Lord. So cool Dwarf build and very classic Nurgle build as well. Nurgle probably going to be calling out more infantry. Occasionally Plague Toads. Plague Toads can be used in this matchup against Dwarves. They have good mass and can, munch them down with their anti-infantry bonus. But here, this is definitely one of the playstyles Harrison really likes. It's just these mass infantry styles. I played him in the tournament with Lizards against Vampires. He did something very similar using a lot of Skinks and Sars and things like that. Very strong. Very good stuff indeed. So, Nurgling's going to be creeping around the side, and yeah, the forces of Nurgle have no reason to go forward. They have the 2 objectives. You want to make the Dwarves come out of their natural habitat, for sure, and the Doomseekers being called in is a great choice, too. So, it's very, very good tech here by Alexander. Doomseekers wreck pretty much all the Nurgle infantry. They do very well. I mean, there's a couple things that can trade okay into them. Forsaken, if you get like a full-on Forsaken charge onto a Doomseeker that's not ready for it, Doomseeker will still win, but in terms of just like value trading, it's not bad. We do see some Furies being called out, and Alexander moving up the Organ Gun. So getting it in position, and it looks like he is going to be grabbing Objective 1. Nurgle is going to be opting to yield the point instead of letting the Organ Gun saturate in and get some firepower. Harrison looks like he might be coming for a full surround too, which I don't hate. We got the 2 Furies on the outsides. We do have Nurglings and Pestigors out here on the wings waiting to envelop into the Dwarven host, who's going to be gathering up and preparing to hold. As the victory tickets count away, Objective 1 is there, and now the Dwarf army is spread out, and that's what Nurgle wants. They want the Dwarves to have to go wide and have a wide formation, because if they're in like a really tight like box, kind of what you guys remember from old school land battle, in the days of old, that's very, very strong, right? So Doomseeker is guarding the Organ Gun. Not a bad idea. I mean, Doomseekers will kill Furies extremely quickly. They do magic damage too, so yeah, and have anti-infantry. So pretty much an S-tier defense on that unit there. But I feel like there's going to be a little bit of posturing here, so we'll do some fast forwarding. Nurgle is probably trying to figure out how to crack this. And yeah, you see we have Plague Toad callouts here. So the Toads have been released, and they're going to be getting that envelop ready as we continue fast forwarding here. And we do see a Stream of Corruption poking in there, but some of the Organ Guns able to put some hurt down on that character. And yeah, Nurgle really wants to make sure they can get the job done. So it's not quite like Tim the Wilder Mordor playstyle, where it's like a long, long build up, but it's in the ballpark. So Frolickers, Bubonic, Chaos Warriors with Great Weapons being called out, and now Nurgle is going to be sounding the horn, and the fight is going to be underway. As the Nurglings make their way up, the Chad Dwarf Lord surges forward to engage against the Nurgle units, and the Furies in the back are waiting to dive. So 1 Fury going to be jumping on top of the Iron Drakes, but Alexander has very good defenses on his range tools. Wow, look at that, actually defending 2 of these range units, which is 1 Doomseeker, and another Slayer is going to be called out. But yeah, Nurgle's engaged. In the front, the Pestigor is about to engage. We do see Battletoads on the outside. Should wreck those Dwarf Warriors. And the Organ Gun wasting into a lot of the Pestigor units. Definitely getting a lot of model kills. And it's a good target. Pestigors are one of the better quality units that Nurgle is fielding here. So you gotta love it. Furies have not been able to find a home. Battletoads going around the outside. Nurgle with a full envelop, ladies and gentlemen. Nurgling's getting around the outside. And it is getting real, real crunk. Looks like some blasting charges activated into the Marauders. Does a little bit of friendly fire damage, but overall does more damage against the Nurgle units. And the Chaos Furies, good micro from Harrison. Despite the defenders, he's able to potentially shut down the Organ Gun, but it looks like it stabilizes. And Furies back here also dive on top of the Flamethrower units, the Iron Drakes, but they do get hunted down by the Brotherhood of Grimnir, who's now going to be stuck fighting Pestigors here as Nurgle really, really pouring it on. A lot of pressure coming in, and remember, every time this guy casts a spell, the entire Nurgle army gets a little bit of incremental value, which is like the most Nurgle thing ever. Like just grinding value inch by inch, point by point. It's very much their thing. But the 2 Furies do land in the backfield, And is the organ gun going to go offline? Maybe. It looks like the Doomseekers are able to fend them off for the most part. That organ gun has managed to stay online, and it has trained its shots into the Chaos Warriors with great weapons, which are going to be moving through the ranks. So they're going to be surging in, and they do get an envelop on these Dwarves. And the Dwarves definitely going to get bonked on the head here pretty hard. And Nurgle and Dwarves actually do have a grudge match against one another. It's like a lore hatred matchup because Nurgle wants to spread plague and disease, and Dwarves are extremely resilient against it. Basically, they just don't get sick. So that's kind of like Nurgle really takes pride in defeating the Dwarves and being able to spread his plagues amongst them, right? And Dwarves, for that same reason, they want to bonk Nurgle in the head with their hammers. Or axes, more so, I suppose. There's a lot more axes on the battlefield. But Nurgle does have the double cap. They were able to get Objective 1 and Objective 2. Now, one of the biggest things is if you're playing a defensive value trading faction, like Dwarves are kind of like that, it's really important to hold your home objective while you value trade. So how this game gets lost for the Dwarves is if they lose Objective 3. But it looks like they're focusing on it. They're holding it. The Dwarf Lord is over there, and was he going to make a play for Objective 2? I'm not sure. The Dwarves have also been able to stabilize some of the pushing. We do see the Flamethrowers online and still ripping some shots back here into some of the filthy heretics. Nice blasting charges there, but the Frolickers Bubonic are getting fecundity, and Battletoads are really, really doing great value. And the Dwarf units are going to lose most of the unsupported trades. Like the Pestigors and Marauder Great Weapons will uptrade into the Dwarven Chaff units. Not even uptrade, they're more expensive, but they will beat them pretty well. And man, really, really good play from Harrison as well, keeping both these Furies alive. It's very easy to just kind of mindlessly throw your Furies in and lose them. But he's been perpetually annoying with them, which is going to make it a lot harder for the Dwarves to endure here. So currently, we do see Alexander up in value, 5.2 against 4.7. He is able to stabilize his home objective. That's going to be a nice stream of corruption there. That's going to cook a lot of the Dwarves right there, so it does mow those guys down. And back towards Objective 1 here, we do have the old Longbeards fighting it out, but the objective does belong to Nurgle as more Chaos Warrior Great Weapons have arrived. Going to be a very tough unit to get, but the Dwarves are kind of consolidating in and securing this one position. If they can just keep their Iron Drakes and their Troll Hunters online and get rid of the Marauders and different diving units back here, that's their path back into this game. Organ Gun obviously taken down a long time ago, and Alexander actually going for a cheeky little back cap here, taking his Dwarf Warriors over here to try and wrestle this. So he does have this unit here at their current health is going to be 3.5 capture weight, give or take, and the Dwarf Lord will be 3. So Chaos Lord is 3 capture weight. These arriving Chaos Warriors are going to be 5. So the back cap situation just not going to happen. Alexander should probably just abandon that at this point. Backpoint's going to be an easy stabilize though. We do get the Chad Slayers. So the Dowie Slayers with their Power Mohawks going to run in, and they're going to butcher some of these Battletoads. And we do see the Battletoads getting taken to Pound Town here and chased back. So they are going to be fleeing, and that is a Disintegrate right there. Up here, Chaos Furies diving on top of the Iron Drakes, but Slayers are nearby to peel them off. And the Dwarves are still fighting here, which is pretty insane. Longbeards are a very stalwart unit, and we do see Alexander starting to get some momentum. He's finally getting the Nurgle forces out of his backfield a little bit. He's cleaning up the old plague a little bit, but we do see a points lead currently for Harrison, but it's not terribly substantial. This is a game that, for sure, could go either way, and it's extremely close. Nurgle making a play for the back point. Yeah, Chaos Warrior Great Weapon unit will be very, very tough to remove for the Dwarves. And Pestigors here probably should be unsummoned. Definitely some housekeeping could be warranted. Granted, if they can threaten the shooting here, not going to be bad. Flamethrowers are online, getting on top of the Nurgle Warriors. Doomseekers moving in, and this will be good for the Doomseekers. They'll definitely bully these Chaos Warrior Great Weapons. I mean, the Chaos Warriors will put up a good fight just because they're a really tough unit. Being Nurgle with higher melee defense and poison, but Doomseekers typically will win such trades. And you can see the Chaos Warriors, not only are they getting cooked by the Flamethrowers, but the Doomseekers are just punishing them pretty badly. And Dwarves are back on the menu, man. They're moving on up. We do see the Brotherhood of Grimnir and the Dwarf Warriors moving towards the point. A couple Nurglings going to be trying to hold it. I think that Harrison probably realizes he's kind of in the back foot a little bit now, so he's just going to be Helms Deeping on Objective 1, trying his best. Really good catch. He caught his opponent in a bad formation, got him with a Stream of Corruption there, and the Battletoads are moving in. On that same coin, though, Alexander's been doing an excellent job of, stabilizing his backfield, keeping what he can alive against just an insurmountable onslaught. That was just insane. And, he does have his Iron Drakes. It would have really been rough for this Nurgle build, maybe the Brimstone guns. Although there were a lot of Furies, it would have been hard to protect them, I guess, so probably not. Probably not the way. So down to the ground, we do get the Dwarf Warriors and the Lord here hanging. Long Dongs Slayer Pirates coming out. And yeah, the Dwarves definitely have more on the battlefield from the looks of things. Nurgle does have a bit of a presence over here, but yeah, just so many Dowie coming out. And those Doomseekers, there's just not a great option against them here that I'm seeing. So at this point, it's going to be flipping here. So we do see it going, and man, oh man. This is going to be a close game, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be really close. Nurgle might be able to find a way to win this. Let's see. So we do have Battletoads here, Marauders, and Nurglings. Well, Brotherhood of Grimnir probably solos all that, yeah, to be frank. So how can Nurgle get back in this game? It really feels like they're on the back foot. They do have a couple of Chaos Warrior units. The Sorcerer Lord is still in good shape. Okay, Nurgle might be able to find a way to get this point, maybe, but that Brotherhood, man, they're just such a Terminator. Probably sitting at a respectable amount of value, about 1,100, because the magic damage, I mean, they just annihilate demons, and yeah, they're satisfying grudges all day, all night. So they continue cutting through there, and now are going to be moving back towards Objective Uno. Flamethrowers online. It looks like the Nurgle Lord. He's not on a Rot Beast, so he's not going to be an excellent fighter, but still good enough to, just tie down this unit for a short period of time. Iron Drakes with the Trollmer Torpedoes, ripping some shots there. And the Dwarves are making a play for the home objective of Nurgle, so they are going to be waddling there, but Alexander will comfortably win on just, the 1 point right now, or on the 2 points now. That's for sure. It's not like Harrison's far enough ahead. I do like the Forsaken, though. The Forsaken and Nurgle are one of the better techs against the Brotherhood of Grimnir and just Doomseekers, because they have really light armor, right? So high damage units like Forsaken with 63 weapon strength are going to be one of your better bets, and the Miasma Pestilence is one way to nullify their stats, too. But, man, if these Flamethrowers are allowed to shoot here, that's going to be bad. Just bathe them in unholy, well, more like holy, or, I don't know, Dwarves don't really have that holy element in them. They do have their gods, of course, but they're not like... I don't know. Dwarves don't really seem terribly fanatical compared to the humans, which, I mean, they, of course, do, venerate their gods and whatnot, and their tradition and ancestry is very important, but they're not like, like whipping themselves in the back and as they go into battle, like flagellating themselves and, other stuff like this. Okay, Nurgle might be able to get this point back. It looks like the Brotherhood of Grimnir is taking some damage. Forsaken doing well. Nurgling's up at the point, and the Flamethrowers being shut offline is quite good. Nurgle still counter-pushing over here as well. Fury's able to isolate a couple units, and the Chaos Warriors will be tough to remove without shooting. Although there is a Iron Drake here that would be very, very good against them. So we're going to see if they're going to be able to get some cooking shots there. We will see. So on Objective 1, it looks like the old Dwarves are going to lose it. Nurgle with the second wind. And the Doomseekers, though, they still have 29 models. They've literally lost like only 3 or 4 models since last we looked. I mean, they're going to be able to grind this back eventually. So what I suspect is that the Dwarves are going to be able to get this point back. It's going to take a while with the Doomseekers and whatnot, but they will get it. The home point, though, is a little bit dodgy. Those Chaos Warriors getting roasted by the Flamethrowers definitely will help break them. Their leadership going to be sitting at 46. Meanwhile, up in the high ground, Pestigors are going to be zooming on across, heading towards Objective Dose. And here on Objective 1, the fighting continues. So Nurgle still holding on. But that is the Dowie Tide. You always think you have the Dwarves on lock, but then suddenly a million just like friggin' leadership 80 blasting charge like chaff units roll up in the objective, and you're like, oh dear God, they're gonna get it back. It's like, it's just the dwarf suffering experience playing against them, Nurgle vs. Dwarves is a fun matchup, though. I always like it. I think it's kind of cool. And I do think the wide pinning style that Harrison did is pretty effective. I think it can do some nice work. And clearly, this is the semifinal of a tournament or the grand final. I'm not sure. These guys were duking it out. And the winner of this game actually ended up winning the tournament. So you guys will see. On the backside, we do have the Slayers hanging out on Objective 3. Flamethrowers able to cook in there, and man, oh man, those Nurgle Warriors are trying their best. They're 90 armor, of course. Armor does get lowered by a Vigor and whatnot. Pestigors are going to be surging forth. A nice protection unit. Pestigors will do okay against Slayers, but that is freaking tons of capture weight coming out for the Dwarves, guys. That is a hell of a lot. And these freaking Doomseekers, they didn't hear no bell. And the freaking Brotherhood of Grimnir are still just insane. 1,800 value here. These Doomseekers are going to be crunching onto the Forsaken. And yeah, Forsaken will trade back. I think Forsaken are so cool. They're actually very good in tabletop too. Forsaken, one of the better units that Warriors of Chaos do have in the infantry department. I hope they, Games Workshop really tends to drop the ball with balancing in their games. Like, yeah, just like having like just the rank and file of a game that's like about rank and file being bad is so depressing. But hopefully, like, I just want the generic Chaos Warrior to be like a good unit, or like the generic Chaos Dwarf Warrior, right? Like those units to be effective. So Objective Uno here is being held by Nurgle as Pestigors do arrive. And look at the Curse of the Slug being activated. That's pretty great. And man, oh man, guys, Harrison is 80 points away, so 1 minute and 20 seconds until he wins, if he can hold on. But the Dwarves are kind of pressing every single point, guys. We do see Objective 2 in flux. The Chaos Warriors trying to hold this. Are there any Nurglings coming in? Okay, Harrison has abandoned Objective 2, and he's all in on Objective 1. He just needs to hold for a little bit longer, man. Oh my God, he is so close to getting it. Actually, a little bit quicker. He did have the double cap, so my calculation was wrong. It was actually half that. So it was about, yeah, it was around 30, 40 seconds in that ballpark. But Pestigors are arriving. Blasting charges coming in. The Dowie Tide, dude. Oh my God, I've been in this situation so many times with Nurgle. Blasting charges, nuking the heretics off the point as the Karazhan Corps surges through the fire and flames to push back the forces of the Plague Father. And they do manage to take objective 2 here. And oh my god, look at the points. 3, 2, 1, and the Dwarves flip it. Oh my god, 1499. That is such pain. Grandfather Nurgle is not happy, and they're not going to be able to get this back. The Dwarves are just so wrecked on the points. They have so many units, and Nurgle is definitely on the back foot. I would wager that this game is over. Nurgle's going to keep fighting, but we do see the last of the Marauders being worn down. Just keeping these little flamethrowers alive has been so clutch. Doomseekers, of course, carrying pretty hard, and the Dwarf Lord is here with Slayers. Slayers and Long-Drawn Slayers, that's like an S-tier unit back here, right? Because they'll lower your combat stats super hard, making it even harder to get the Dwarves off. And I think, yeah, if he loses a point for even 1 second, he loses though, right? So this could still be something. I mean, maybe if Nurgle's able to get back and wrestle objective 2 and leave this just filthy tide of Dowie here, they can get over here. I mean, speaking of filthy, right? Nurgle's all about that. But they do get some Battletoads on. We do get the Frolickers Bubonic. Chaos Lord and some Forsaken will provide a little bit of capture weight. Okay, 1440, 1449 here in a second, guys. Battletoads are moving up on the point. In the back, we do have the Miners of Blasting Charges moving in. And are the Battletoads going to get it? Here they come. Frolickers Bubonic arriving. It's just not going to be enough time. He starts to get the capture weight back. Maybe there was an opportunity, but man, he loses by 1 point. Clan Helheim getting it done, dude. What a match. That was awesome. It was like a huge Nurgle swarm coming in, the Dwarves enduring, holding it, weathering the storm, and then counter-pushing back for the Karazhan Corps, securing the objectives. It was a very, very fun game. So GG, well played. Yeah, Doomseekers were super MVP. 2,200, 1,600 here. 2,000 value on the Trollhammers. Able to keep those online is very, very good. And the Flamethrower is not a lot of value, but they do discourage leadership and help you disintegrate demons. So yeah, it was a fun game, man. Could have gone either way, obviously 1 point. And that's going to be it for tonight. You guys take care of yourselves. And, the Dowie have done it. GG's.